I once bought a car that felt good during the test drive, seemed like it was superior relative to the competition. Bought it, got it home, and about a month later, I hated the thing. I realized that I made a bad move. Now, that was pretty stressful. Why? Because when you purchase a car, for example, that decision sticks with you for a long period of time unless you're a little more impulsive and just sell the car and go buy the one that you should have bought. But that's not how I work because I view stuff like that as just kind of utilitarian. So that was a bad decision. When you think of Social Security, that one form, that one signature, that one moment in time where you make that decision on how you're going to file Social Security, that decision is going to last with you for the rest of your life, maybe 30 years, 40 years. I don't know. That is what makes Social Security an extremely stressful decision, or at least it should be stressful, because if it is stressful, that means that you're putting a lot of thought into that. Now, what I want to do today is I want to talk about Social Security through the lens of how I plan on my Social Security filing going, as well as my wife's. How I plan on me and my wife filing for Social Security. Through that lens, I'll give you kind of some heads ups, so to speak, on items like delayed retirement credits, survivor benefits, restricted applications, which a lot of people don't know about, that if you're born prior to January 2nd, 1954, you have the ability to do. But let's say that my wife and I, and I'm going to use my trusty whiteboard here, my wife's going to live forever. She's healthy, she works out, she doesn't necessarily eat healthy, but she doesn't have to. Her metabolism must be really fast because she just does not gain weight. Me, myself, I don't even buy green bananas, right? Because the Gipple family, we don't have the best genetics when it comes to longevity. So let's assume, with that being said, how is it that I plan to file for Social Security? Let me explain here. So what I call the Social Security 4 phases, the 4 phases of Social Security, I want to display to you up here through the lens of me and my wife. Now, these numbers are hypothetical because you don't care to know about our financial situation, but let's say that my primary insurance amount, which is the government's way of saying full Social Security retirement benefit amount at full retirement age, let's say that my amount is $3,000 per month. Let's say that's what I'm expected to get. My wife, let's say that her amount, based off her earnings record, the last 35 years, how they index it up in today's dollar amount and then give you the average. That's how the government comes up with these numbers. And then around 40% of what it was that you've made. But let's say that hers is $1,400. So mine $3,000 at full retirement age. Hers is $1,400. That is the anchor. That is what everything depends on when it comes to Social Security. Now, I am going to demonstrate here the 4 different phases, as I call it. Move my mic up here, of the Social Security life cycle when it comes to retirement benefits. Usually it's 4 phases for a couple here. So 4 phases, there's 1 phase, there's 2 phases, and 3 and 4. 1 phase, 2 phase, 3 phase, 4 phase. C, which is Charlie, and N, which is Noelle. My wife's name is Noelle. Now, what is the first phase here? The first phase is today, 2020, right? 2020 until that second phase. What is that second phase? That second phase is when the first of us two files for Social Security. Sometimes that it may be only 1 phase if we both file at the same time, or these two, I should say, many times can be just 1 phase, but we're not going to file at the same time. Why is that? I'll talk about here in a bit. Now, the first time, or the first person filing, I should say, that year is going to be 2042. 2042. And then the next phase, which is when the second of us files for Social Security, is going to be 2047. The last phase is when survivor benefits kick in. Now, I'm sorry to say that I don't think it's going to be me that's going to get the survivor benefits. Why? Because my wife's going to live forever again. But let's take life expectancy. My life expectancy, well, for a 65-year-old male, life expectancy is 85, right? Mine's a little less because I'm not yet 65. And plus, again, well, I don't buy green bananas. But let's just say 85 is the life expectancy here. So that means 2062, the year 2062. I was born in 77, 2062, I will be 85, assuming life expectancy. So 2020, I am age 43, or will be in December 11th. My wife, don't tell her I told you this, she's 45. She's 45. Don't tell her I told you this, she's 45. Now, in 2042, I will be age 65. I cannot file even if I wanted. Well, I could file at that point in time, but I'm not yet full retirement age, right? My full retirement age is 67. Why did I choose 2042? Because that is when my wife is full retirement age at that point in time. My wife at that point in time, she cannot take a spousal benefit, right? Remember, my primary insurance amount at full retirement age is $3,000, which means if she were to take a spousal benefit, $1,500, right? Well, she has to look at her earnings record. When she files, because I have not yet filed, she only has one option basically, and that is for her $1,400 primary insurance amount. In other words, full Social Security benefit. So $1,400 per month. Again, these numbers are hypothetical just because you don't care to know about our situation here. So $1,400 there. At age 65, what am I going to get? I am going to get nothing. Now, by the way, if we were born prior to January 2nd, 1954, there is another option that would be opened up at this point in time. There would be another option that we would have at that point, at least assuming I was full retirement age. I need to clarify that, which technically I wouldn't be. But if my full retirement age, if instead I was 67, which technically if you were born prior to January 2nd, 1954, full retirement age would not be 67, it'd be 66, but that's another thing. Just know that if you're born prior to January 2nd, 1954, there's a second option, and that's called a restricted application. Basically, to where I could get $700, my spousal benefit, right? And let my money grow in the background. Let my earnings record, let my Social Security benefit based off my earnings record grow in the background. But I'll get to that here in a bit. So anyway, she's going to get $1,400 starting in 2042. 2047, I am going to be 70 years of age. Why did I wait 3 years beyond my full retirement age? I did that because of something called delayed retirement credits. By me waiting every year that I wait beyond my full retirement age, what do I get? I get an 8% step up, basically, in my Social Security benefit. So 3 years later, I get a 24% benefit on top of my $3,000, which comes out to $3,720. And by the way, I did the analysis. I have Social Security, a spreadsheet. I would call it analysis software, but a lot of it is largely manual. I prefer it to be manual because I trust me over some sort of computer calculation that many times can get screwed up anyway. But I have a spreadsheet that can show Charlie and Noelle file early, Charlie file early, Noelle file late. All of the variations, both of them file late, both of them file at full retirement age. And I will tell you here that by me having that $3,000 primary insurance amount, full retirement benefits, and having that increase by 8% every year, over my lifetime, I am not wasting, well, like $150,000 versus if we both filed early, for example. I am not leaving $150,000 on the table of total lifetime benefits, which I otherwise would if my wife and I filed early. So I get that delayed retirement credit. And by the way, you may be thinking, well, but Charlie, you just said that you don't buy green bananas, that your life expectancy isn't that great. So why would you wait then? Because it seems to me that you'd get more benefit by filing early, albeit a reduced amount, if your life expectancy is not that great. That's a trap that a lot of people fall into. What they're not taking into consideration is what happens later on. They're not taking into consideration the survivor benefit that the spouse gets, because Noelle's going to last forever. That 3720, which is ultimately going to be hers when I predecease her, you need to take the entire picture into consideration versus her getting a spousal benefit of, say, $3,000. Or if I filed for Social Security early, I get a reduced benefit, right? For every month that one files their Social Security early, for every month that one files for Social Security early prior to their full retirement age, that retirement benefit is reduced by 0.5%. Beyond 3 years early, it then goes to 0.5% on top of 0.59% for 36 months. Yes, I went down that dirt road, but if you want clarification on what I just said, feel free to ask me. But something interesting here happens. Something interesting happens is, so 3720, what does my spouse get? What does Noelle get at that point in time when she's 72 years of age? She gets a spousal benefit, right? Now, what is that spousal benefit? Is it 50% of 3720? No, it is 50% of $3,000, my primary insurance amount, right? And is that 50% of $3,000 larger than her benefit? Yes, it is, by $100. So she gets a nice little step up at that point in time. She gets $1,500, right? So I just pointed something out there. Do you know that spousal benefits, she's well past her full retirement age. Spousal benefits do not step up, do not get delayed retirement credits. But yet at the same time, if my wife were to file early, her spousal benefit, what I'm talking about by spousal benefit is based off my earnings record. Her spousal benefit gets reduced. So spousal benefits get reduced, but spousal benefits do not get delayed retirement credits, if that makes sense there. So $1,500 not stepped up because of delayed retirement credit. But regardless, still a little bump up for her, right? In 2062, that's the post-Charlie world in my example here. That's when I would have been 85, and that's the year, my life expectancy. I wake up, and as we all know, we all wake up on our life expectancy day, and that's the last day on earth, right? 85, and then she will be 87. What happens when that happens right there? Well, my wife then gets the survivor benefit, which is the greater of the two. She then gets 3720. So off into perpetuity, because that's how long she's going to live. Technically, what I did is I said that she was going to live until age 92, because a couple at age 65, one of them has a 50% chance, i.e. a life expectancy basically, of living until 92. One of a couple, 65-year-old couple, has a 50% chance of living to 92. So the analysis I did on my spreadsheet that's color-coded by the 4 different phases, the deferral phase as I call it, the first file, the second file, or both of them being on Social Security, and then the survivor benefits. What I have found is the second best option to this, we have about $80,000 more in benefits than that second best option. The worst option is if both of us take Social Security benefits early, assuming she lives until 92, I live until age 85, we're leaving like $150,000 or something like that on the table. Again, that's in my spreadsheets. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. Again, through this lens, I brought up a lot of different points that themselves could be their own separate video, but I wanted to kind of prime the pump a little bit. Charlie Gipple, CG Financial Group. Have a good day.